Huddle up, team. In today's video, we are talking about how to grow your investments exponentially.
Woohoo! I love exponential growth. That's exciting. It's way better than the alternatives, okay? And it's super important that you understand it. And I'm so excited to share this information with you today because I've been struggling with how do we communicate effectively this concept of exponential growth. Because in the finance world, it's boring, right? We call it compound interest.
Right. Yeah.
Compound interest. How boring is that term? I can't get excited about that. But exponential growth, I can get excited about. I start to get that, right? In a negative connotation, it's kind of like a virus, right? We know the virus starts out slow, but then it goes, woo, it takes off. That's the same thing with your money. And that's what we're going to talk about today, is how you can experience exponential growth with your investments. So when you start with a little bit of money, it blows up and becomes this huge pot of money that you can retire on.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Very interesting.
So let's understand the growth curves. We're going to run through this because we have no frame of reference really for exponential growth.
Right.
Our lives do not reflect exponential growth and we don't get it. So we miss the impact and the significance. So what we are familiar with, I'm going to start with this, okay?
Okay.
Is linear growth.
Yeah.
And really, you can relate to this. It's like, let's say you get paid $25 an hour at work. So if you work 10 hours in a week, 25 times 10 is $250, right? You know that's going to be your gross income that week. And if you want to make more money, the linear equation says the fixed rate is $25. So if you want to make more money, add more hours.
Right.
So now, if I work 40 hours a week, 25 times 40 is $1,000. So I can make $1,000 a week instead of what I would make, $250 working 10 hours. Challenge, of course, is you only have so many hours you can work every week.
Right.
But so we're familiar with the linear equation, that growth rate. Now, the next growth rate we're going to talk about is the algorithmic, right? No, logarithmic. Sorry about that. Logarithmic. The logarithmic growth chart you and I are super familiar with. And I want to share this, okay? I'm going to pull this up. I'm going to share this chart so we can talk about it. Here's the logarithmic growth chart. And what it shows you is that the results grow early. They grow fast early, right? Can you talk a little bit about this for us?
Yeah, sure. And so examples of that would be why we get inspired initially to when we start our training for whatever, a marathon, that we do see those results. We get to the gym every day and they build and the results come quickly.
We see them pretty quick, right? Like when I was doing push-ups last year, man, the results came quickly. Like in 3 months, there was a dramatic difference, right? They came quick, and that was exciting.
Yes.
Yeah.
Weight loss, you'll lose, 5 pounds in a week, maybe some, a little bit more. You see those results quickly. In literacy, children and young students make massive leaps as they learn how to read.
Right.
Language proficiency, to learning how to speak even at a rudimentary level of a new language will open up a whole new world.
I kind of feel like that sometimes. Like I'm speaking at a rudimentary level. But the logarithmic growth curve, this is so important, okay? Remember, it arcs like this. You experience rapid results early.
Yes.
Because you're so new and you start developing your skill.
This is exciting.
Yeah. But it's directly related to like skill development.
Almost exclusive, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And you and I mean, we all are familiar with that. We've gone to and attempted to learn a new skill, and we see kind of some growth rapidly early. But then as we get better and better and better at it, if I go back to the chart, you can see that chart, it flattens out, right? After a certain amount of time.
Plateau.
Yeah, like weight loss. Oh, sweet Jesus.
Yeah, you've lost your 40.
Like my weight loss, I have totally plateaued, okay? I'm still walking, 6 days a week, but I'm not losing any more weight. I plateaued. Same thing with the logarithmic growth chart or growth curve. You plateau out. but we got dramatic results early.
Right.
And so we're familiar with this. Now, here's the problem, though, okay? Money doesn't work like that. So we don't have a frame of reference. Money follows a different growth curve. Money follows an exponential growth curve. So let me pull that one up so we can take a look at it. Because it is completely different. Here we go. Boom. Look at this thing. So with the exponential growth curve, the results early are minimal. Like you can't even tell the difference.
Yeah.
And it takes a long time, folks. It takes a long time for results to appear. Let's go back to the graph. Look at this thing. Very slow, gradual. We started seeing some results, but this takes like decades. Okay, decades.
Gotta be patient.
Oh my goodness. For exponential growth, for your investing returns to compound, to start, getting interest on your interest on your interest. It takes a long time for it to grow. And that's really a big problem for a lot of us.
Yes.
All right.
It is. Indeed.
And here's why it's a big problem for a lot of us, because we're so impatient. We're in a microwave society and we want to see results like this. And the exponential growth curve does not work like that. Your wealth accumulation does not work like a microwave. It's not going to happen. You've got to adjust your expectations and manage your activity and behaviors according to the growth curve that you're on. So if we go back to the growth curve, look at this. Very little results. And at the time's going on years, decades, until we start to see this slope of the curve increase and go up. If it's taking decades, you can lose interest. You can think, oh, it doesn't matter. I'm going to put my money somewhere else, whatever. No.
Right.
Compounding effect, it's essential that you get consistent positive returns over a long period of time, right? And I love what Warren Buffett says about the 2 rules for investing, all right? Rule number 1.
Never lose money.
Woo! You remember. And rule number 2.
Remember rule number 1.
That's right. Those are the keys to investing. It's the discipline, the consistency over a long period of time of earning positive returns. And Wall Street brainwashes us into following, the hottest fund or pursuing the biggest returns and blowing it up. It's like the tortoise and the hare. No, that's not it. The tortoise and the hare, right? That's not going to work. The tortoise wins because he gets consistent performance. He's like slow and steady wins the race. He always earns positive returns and moves forward. And it's the same thing with your investments. Because the most damaging thing to your investment portfolio is if you go and experience a 50% loss.
Right.
When the stock markets crash, and they do, and they will again, and you lose half your money, that pulls you all the way back down the growth curve. And it takes years and sometimes a decade and more to recover the loss. If you lose 50% return on your money, let's say you got 100 grand and you lose 50%, now you have $50,000. It could take you 5, 7, 10 years just to get back to even, and you've lost all those years of having that steeper growth curve accelerating and compounding the growth of your money. It's devastating. Whew. So we got to understand what growth curve you're on, okay, and adjust your expectations and behave accordingly. What else you got?
Just some examples of.
Oh, yeah, good.
Why don't you just give a couple, like our social media?
Okay. Yeah, you'll probably relate to this. It's like building a social media audience. It takes a whole lot of effort and a whole lot of posts at the beginning for very little returns, right? And over time, then it'll start to grow. And then the growth takes over, and it's like where do all these people come from, right? That's the exponential growth rate that you can experience with your investments. But the beginning part, you got to manage your expectations. It's going to be slow, and you have to keep doing it every day, every week, every month, month after month after month, over a long period of time, until you start to get that compounding effect. That's a really great example. Okay. What else do we got here, baby? I think we should go through some.
Talk about,
What?
no, go ahead.
All right. I want to show you some examples of the compounding effect of money,
Right.
because this is what we're talking about, right? So if we look at the compounding effect of money we want to talk about this. Okay. Seek the highest growth curve. Okay. Let me share this with you. When we're looking to accumulate wealth and through investments and grow our investments over time, one, we need time. We need the compounding effect over a long period of time to work for us, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then the second thing is we need to be in a vehicle that can deliver a good rate of return, because the rule of 72 tells us, how often your money will double. You take 72 divided by your rate of return, and that's the answer. So if you earn 10%, 72 divided by 10 is 7.2. You'll double your money in 7.2 years. Now, this is a really big deal. One way that you can achieve your financial independence or your financial freedom faster is go in a better vehicle, right?
Mm-hmm.
Drive a car that's faster.
Right.
Like instead of driving, an old, AMC Gremlin, right? Jump into a Ferrari, okay? The Ferrari drives faster. It'll get you to your goal quicker. So that's our example here. Let's look at seeking the highest growth curve. This is from James Clear. I believe it's one of his articles that he wrote on his website. He wrote Atomic Habits, great book, recommend. But seek the highest growth curve. So instead of being in business and making candles, which will have a much lower growth rate because that's very old, dated technology, right? The growth curve on that's going to be a lot less. Like that might be analogous to the growth curve on a savings account at a bank, where you're going to get a quarter to a 0.5%, almost nothing, right? Yeah. So if you look at the candle company, that growth curve is like very flat. Like it takes a long time for it to start going up, right? So your option is to seek a different growth curve, something with a steeper curve, like a software company is the example that James uses here, so that the curve is steeper. It'll grow faster sooner. So instead of our example talking about growing money, instead of settling and putting your money in a savings account and earning 0.5%, put your money somewhere else where you can earn 6% or 8% or 10% and earn that consistently over a long period of time without negative returns, without losing money, without going backwards. Because if you go backward, what happens is you slide back down the curve. This is a big deal. If you get negative returns, you slide back down the curve and you have to kind of start over again to go back up, right? You want to avoid that. Negative returns are they have a larger impact on your wealth accumulation than positive returns. It's so dramatic. And we are completely duped. Like we will risk what we have and need for what we don't have and don't need. And that's dumb. Like that's just insanity, right? But that's just how this whole machine, this whole Wall Street thing has got us programmed. We believe that big risk is going to be big return, but that's not how the pros do it, okay? We can't get sucked into that way of thinking. We need consistent growth over a long period of time. And you can be happy with a lower growth rate that avoids a negative year, that avoids a big loss, because you'll be further ahead over the long run, okay? So that's so critical, and I want you to understand that. Consistency over a long period of time. So let's look at now
Are you going to show some of
some actual numbers. Yeah. I'm going to pull that up. So let's look at 1%. And you can, all right, here we go. Are you ready? I'm going to show you multiple examples right here so you can see the changing in the slope of this curve and the dramatic impact on the wealth accumulation over time. This is $1,000. You start with $1,000, and then you put in $1,000 a month, and you earn a 1% interest rate. Probably not in your savings account, but we're going to go with that number, okay? And you do it over 40 years. Now, if you're 20 or 25, that gets you to retirement, right? It gets you to retirement. It doesn't get you through retirement, because you could have another 20 or 30 years on the back end, okay? So we got to adjust your perspective there. You can't just be thinking about 55 or 60 or 65 and getting to retirement. You got to get all the way through. It could be like 90 or 100, right? But 40 years here, you can see total deposits. See that middle line? Total deposits, $480,000, right? Look at total interest. Oh, my bad. Look at total interest, $110,000. So your final balance is $591,383. That's what putting $1,000 a month away for 40 years will do in a savings account if you get 1% interest rate. I'm not excited about that. Are you excited about that? No, not very much. So let's look what happens if we double the interest rate and we go to 2%. All right, now we can see total deposits are the same, still 480,000, but look at your total interest. It's 255. We actually more than doubled the total interest because some of your interest earn interest on the interest. That's the compounding effect, okay? So your final balance is $736,000. Again, not terribly exciting. So let's switch it up. Let's go to a 4% rate of return. Now, your same, $1,000 a month deal is worth $1.1 million, almost $1.2 million. And you start to see the curve. You start to see that showing up at the end, right? Woo! This is exciting. This is the compounding effect of money. Now, what happens if we go from 4% to 6%? Holy cow.
Wow.
We doubled
Look at that.
the amount of money. Now we've got over $2 million, the exact same 40 years, exact same $1,000 a month, but now we've got more than double the return. We got over $2 million. And this should be encouraging for you. I hope this gives you hope. Like, this is what's so exciting. This exponential growth. You can tap into this. You can leverage this. You just got to get started. Time is your greatest non-renewable resource. Don't fritter it away. Don't think, oh, I got time.
No, we don't.
We don't. It's gone like this. Don't think that. You've got to start now, and you've got to get your money to work. And then we just find better ways for it to grow. Now look what happens.
Which one?
If we go to 8%, check this out. We went from $2 million at 6% to $3.5 million at 8%. So you can see 2% makes a big deal. And that's worth repeating. 2 percentage points makes a big deal. Over 40 years, we went from 2 million to over 3.5 million. Okay? Now, look at this. We're going to do it one more time. We're going to bump this up to 10%. All right?
Yeah.
Check it.
Wow.
10% interest on same $1,000 a month over 40 years, $6.37 million. Now you can really see that steepness of that curve, the last, few bars there, right? Guys, this is the power of exponential growth on your money. Now imagine if your parents or grandparents had started this account for you when you were a baby. What kind of a jump start do you get on your life, right? It's not the early years. It's the back end years. It's that, 50, 60, 70 years later where you get that compounding, that doubling. Like, that curve is very steep now, okay? And this is what we want you to take advantage of. So the exponential growth of your investments, of your investing, of building wealth is dependent on time. That's number one. And two, the average rate of return you can earn consistently over time without losing money. Okay? Losing money pulls you way back down the curve. It sets you back, and it can take years to recover, right? And that's what we want to avoid. But this is how you can build wealth, and this is how you can become like Warren Buffett, and when you're 90, be worth $114 billion or some crazy number like that. So I want to encourage you with this. If you have questions, reach out to us. We're here to help. We want to be your financial coaches, guide you, encourage you, motivate you, point you in the right direction, provide the right resources so that you can change your life, so that you can win your money game, right?
That's good.
Let's go. Let's go. You can do this, and we're here to help. If you like this content, show us. Let us know. Give us a thumbs up. Be sure to subscribe to the channel. We'd love to hear your comments below. But share it with somebody else, and let's build a great community here of people that are working, striving towards achieving financial freedom and building a great team together to do it, okay? All right, until next time, we'll see you. Have a great week.